2, 3 other vessels look like they're joining together to make the superior vena cava. You know, the superior vena cava is a large vessel, and it doesn't distribute oxygen or nutrients itself. It's too big for that. It's just a passageway. You need smaller vessels from that. So those are coming back together, and this is coming into the right atrium. The inferior vena cava is right here. Got my little finger in it. It's the inferior vena cava. And then flipping this open, well, let's first do the back. Here's the coronary sinus, and it's coming in right to here. And if you look inside, we'll find the coronary sinus coming in. It's got a number. It's number 58 in here, a very small dot. You may not see it until you actually get a hold of this. My finger's right at it. Okay, so the chamber here is the right atrium. Then we go down to the right ventricle. They've used plastic here to indicate the cusp of the tricuspid valve and the white chordae tendineae, and papillary muscles really not well represented on this model. Okay, wherever the chordae tendineae attach to the wall of the heart, it's going to attach at a papillary muscle. No exceptions. Okay. They don't show it well. They show it a little bit better on the other side. The place it shows the best is the sheep heart. Okay. Exiting, we go through the pulmonary trunk, and here's the pulmonary semilunar valve. We're showing it with 2 parts closed and 1 part open. If that makes any sense.
Would that prevent backflow?
What?
Would that prevent backflow, only two being closed?
No, it won't happen that way. They would all 3 be open or all 3 be closed. The model is trying to be cute. Okay? It can't happen that way. This is the pulmonary trunk again, goes out to the lungs and comes back by the pulmonary veins. The pulmonary veins are going to carry oxygenated blood, which they represent here with this red coloring. These are 2 pulmonary veins, and here are the other 2 pulmonary veins over here. And they haven't messed it up with an extra one. While we're on the posterior side here for just a moment, this is the aorta, aortic arch, and this is going to be the descending thoracic aorta, which goes down behind the heart. These 2 structures are not to be worried about yet. This is the esophagus, and this is part of the trachea and primary bronchi that they're showing here. It is more realistic to do that. Okay, but on the posterior side we have, our lateral sides actually, the pulmonary veins. We can open it up, and there's a chamber here at the top. This is the left auricle, or atrium I should have said, left atrium, and there's 2 reddish openings and 2 reddish openings. Those are the openings or entrances of the pulmonary veins into the right atrium. This structure is to represent the mitral valve, two cusp of the mitral valve, and the chordae tendineae, and they do have on this side and a little bit on this side, but better here, a papillary muscle. Both of these show lots and lots of this stuff. This is the trabeculae carneae. The waffle length, looks like. Also something else that this one shows, and it does show on the other model too. This structure here, I didn't name it before. This is the partition in between the ventricles. This is the IV septum. The IV septum right here. This whole thing. When the blood leaves the left ventricle, it goes up, and you have to tilt this thing and look back to where my finger is. There's a 3-parted valve back up there, the aortic semilunar valve. You may not see it here until you get a hold of one of these yourself. Not difficult. It can't be anything else. The outer covering of the heart is all epicardium. It's also known as the visceral pericardium. the muscular portion of the heart wall, the part your scalpel would cut through. Okay, anywhere that it would have to really cut through and there was some meat to it. That's all myocardium, all the way around, the thickness. But if I were to fill this with water right now, okay, it doesn't look like it's going to leak. Anything the water touches on the edge, okay, or if I use dye, anything that stayed dyed, that's all endocardium. Anything it would touch, including the valve cusp, chordae tendineae, the outside of the papillary muscle, not the inside of the papillary muscle, that's myocardium. All of this is endocardium. Endothelium is another word that you could use too. Okay. But anything that the blood touches is endocardium.
So the IV septum would then be myocardium?
The IV septum is myocardium. The aorta, they bring more of it out, and here's the arch, the aortic arch. Now we haven't named this or talked about this muscle yet, blood vessel, the one that goes down until it hits the diaphragm. This is the descending thoracic aorta, and we are going to learn that. We also are going to be learning these three. They have a little bit different orientation on the human than they do in the sheep heart. But in the sheep heart, there's not going to be any confusion because the sheep heart only shows us the brachiocephalic. The first major vessel, large vessel coming off is the brachiocephalic. Now, there are more vessels coming off the sheep heart, but they cut it right there when they take it. And all you see is the opening to the aorta. If you're seeing the two openings that are rather muscular looking, they got some thickness to them. One is brachiocephalic, one is the aorta. Usually, if you've got the heart in anatomical position facing you, the one that is farthest to your right, the sheep heart's left, is going to be the aorta, and the other one is going to be brachiocephalic. Normally, the brachiocephalic will point upwards, and a probe placed in there will stand straight up, but it's not always the case, 90-odd%. And the one over here could have been cut at a big angle, or a slice this way. It doesn't matter. If it's over on that side, it's going to be the aorta. When I actually ask you one on the test, it'll be one that's clear, no problem. It's possible that they also would cut it once in a while so close that they have only one opening. Okay? There are two vessels that diverge from each other, and if you cut them close enough to the vessel where they diverged, you're only going to get one opening. So if that happens, you understand what has happened. It's a combination of the aorta and brachiocephalic, and there's no way I'm going to ask you a funny question like that. Okay, but just so that you know that would happen. Well, what are these? So we can go ahead and name them now. This one is the carotid artery, and this one is the subclavian. This is the human way, and the cat, it doesn't pan out. Okay, cat's arrangement isn't this way, and we are going to use a cat. So if you happen to have a cat drawing from somebody else's class, I really suggest you scuttle it quickly before you start learning things crazy.
Common carotid and subclavian?
Common carotid and subclavian. But these aren't going to be hard for you to remember, okay? Because it's going to be aorta, brachiocephalic, common carotid, and subclavian. A, B, C, S. ABCs. Simple as learning ABCs. Aorta, brachiocephalic, common carotid, subclavian. Yeah, Christine?
Is there a reason why it's not on the list? I thought
It's on the circuit.
Oh.
Okay. You're looking at the heart list, and heart is really all I want to go over today, except that this is available, so I might as well just mention it now. The heart is still over. You're looking at the heart models themselves. These heart models.
The book says left.